In Cup Fall Series number 3, will the Koreans dominate in the tournament like they do in the rankings, currently holding 5 out of the top 6 positions? United 5 is in the Warcraft Premier League Season 3 finals against Trademark Gamers, and they're hungry to prove that an American Warcraft 3 clan can compete. The video will take its first look at the Electronic Sports League Pro Series. It's mostly a German league, but don't underestimate them. Lucifer so far has had a poor fall series, losing in the 8th round of the first tournament, 6th round of the second tournament, and 3rd round of the third tournament. Can he turn it around in the 4th installment of the In-Cup Fall Series? I'm Tom Connerly, and this is Imbalanced. Welcome to the 3rd episode of Imbalanced, your only source for weekly Warcraft highlights. World Cyber Games is next week, and I'm going to put out 2 videos, one of the group phase and one of the finals. Expect to see them very soon after World Cyber Games starts. Now, on to the video. Milknarf playing against Eric from SKO6, 2 players who are both trying to make names for themselves. The game starts out evenly with each player getting a hero kill. You'd think that the Orc would be able to do better though, considering it's grunts and raiders against footmen. Milknarf gains the advantage by using Militia to chase Eric's army away, which can't run nearly fast enough because of slow. Milknarf keeps the advantage. In the final battle, Eric focuses on the Archmage, but never actually kills him. At the same time, Milknarf focuses down units and comes out with a much larger army and its heroes. Milknarf won. Milknarf goes on to play Moon in the semifinals. They spawn close positions on Turtle Rock, and Milknarf goes for the tower rush. Moon easily holds off the rush and only loses a couple of Moonwells to Militia and Footmen. Milknarf backs off and techs to tier 2 while Moon techs to Bears. Right before this fight, Moon took out half of Milknarf's production buildings. The only way Milknarf can fight Moon is with his Militia. Moon smartly runs from the fight, but he'll be back for more after he's done creeping. Halfway through that creeping, Milknarf comes in for the late creepjack. Milknarf has a much weaker army, and it gets in a bad position with its casters in range of the Dryads. Moon takes game 1 of this best of 3 series. In game 2, they spawn far positions on Lost Temple. Moon stops Milknarf's Expo with a very nice tower push. Milknarf is severely crippled, but after losing his Expo, he does manage to put it up again later and keep it up. Both players tech to tier 3 at the same time. Moon puts up about 4 Expos. Milknarf tries to pull off an angry Korean man and goes for mass flying machines. The effect of the tower push on his Expos still show up here. He just can't get enough flying machines to get the damage output to push back Moon's army and start taking out his massive number of Expos. Moon will go on to the finals. The other semi-final game was Shy against Deadleaves on Maelstrom. Nothing in this game went Deadleaves' way, but he did make some nice plays. After the first battle, Shy had the definite advantage with the hero kill. This creepjack is one of the more interesting plays you'll see. First, both players use Shadow Meld, but then Shy, knowing he has the better army, uses one of his hunts to buy Reveal from the Goblin Lab. Then, Deadleaves counters by buying a Zeppelin to fly him out, but it gets ensnared. That's the amount of bad luck Deadleaves had in this game. Nothing went his way. His luck didn't get any better. He tried dropping glaive throwers into the back of Shy's base. It worked well until he loses the Zeppelin over the trees, and in turn, he also loses every single unit inside. Shy went on to the finals to face Spirit Moon. Moon took game 1 of the finals easily, but he gets creepjack here in game 2 on Turtle Rock. The problem is that he doesn't save units. Shy teleports his Naga back into his base while Moon loses his. Shy saves Bears while Moon loses a lot trying to run out of this fight. That loss will bite him in the end. When the final battle comes, Moon doesn't have his DK, which is being revived. And he also doesn't have the units that he needs to be able to fight Shy off. Shy gives Moon his 2nd loss in the In-Cup Fall Series this season. After Moon won game 3, he gets himself into a jam on Twisted Meadows. Moon decided to go Hunt and Expo. The plan fails and he gets his Expo demolished. He is able to chip away at Shy's advantage and come back close to even with a nice combination of Hunts and Dryads, coupled with some very good micro. When it came down to the final battle, I think Shy didn't believe that he could win. He had decent micro, but not the best that I've seen from him. he had a chance to win the game if he had been able to put an Expo up after stopping Moon. When Moon got level 6 on his Priestess of the Moon, he seals the deal with Starfall. Moon won in Cup number 3. After Quasi lost game 1 with a level 6 Goblin Alchemist, Punky tries to seal the win by going Hunts on Twisted Meadows. Moon pulled off Hunts on Twisted Meadows, but Punky just can't seem to get enough Hunts to be able to fight off the archers of Quasi. The final battle is very one-sided as Quasi totally dominates. Even if there was lag in this game, Quasi won this game by strategy, not by micro. In game 3, they spawn on close positions on Turtle Rock. Punky tries to tech the bears, but Quasi catches him with his pants down and keeps both of Punky's heroes at level 1. Quasi won the matchup, putting U5 up 1-0. Milknarf against Home Run Ball. Game 1 is on Turtle Rock where the players spawned at close position. There's a lot of action, and at Tier 2 both players move their Mountain Kings at the same time. The game stays close until Home Run Ball makes a tactical blunder and techs at Tier 3 while Milknarf stays at Tier 2. There's no way Home Run Ball could have gotten the units necessary to hold Milknarf off. Milknarf won the series in 2 games, putting U5 up 2-0 in this clan war. In this game, Wanger managed not to make any tactical blunders like the other TMG players did in the first 2 series. But he did make a blunder in game 1, which he lost. This is game 2. Pato Expo's in the far right-hand corner and hopes that Wanger doesn't find it, but he does, and he easily destroys it. Wanger has a huge advantage at this point, and just has to make sure that he doesn't throw it away, and he'll easily win. When the final battle comes, Wanger has the healing scrolls and the micro to easily stop Pato from winning the game. Pato did win games 1 and 3, which gave U5 the win 3-0. Trademark Gamers had the better micro, but they chose the wrong strategies. Well, the Electronic Sports League website's down, so I can't get the full names of the players, but this will have to do. Here, Hasu puts on a clinic of how to play Fiends against Orc. He loses 1 Fiend and a Lich, while he totally dominates the battle, even though the Orc had a speed scroll to get in next to the Fiends. Hasu won game 1 of the series on Echo Isles. In game 2, Hasu had the advantage at this point. His Destros had mana and he was on the attack. He chased down so many units that even though Kukian was running with Unholy Aura, he was losing the game at the same time. Hasu won the series easily, 2-0. After losing the battle early, Taker decides his only chance to win is to tower. So that's exactly what he does. If he had an army to back the towers up, he would have won the game easily. But he doesn't, so the game is pretty close. You'd think that the towers would chew Druids of the Talon to pieces, but dots do bonus damage to towers because of magic damage against heavy armor. Basha and Taker are currently tied for 2nd place in the league after Basha won this series in 3 games. They're both trying to catch Fire, who is currently in 1st place by 3 points. We move on to some BattleNet games. This is a great example of why the Death Knight isn't the only hero you can use. Broken Glass uses the Dreadlord to sleep the Lich, letting his ghouls surround and be free of Nova. Also, he invests a lot more money into ghouls, which lets him dominate the early game. The real reason he won was that 4K's Drool didn't know the counter to his strat. 4K's Drool fought the battles that he shouldn't have fought because he didn't know what the strategy was and what the timing was against it. I really like the way Vision played this game. It was on close positions on Turtle Rock. Instead of the normal, very early game tower push, he waits until Tier 2. At Tier 2, the Night Elf doesn't have any of its Tier 2 units out, so it's probably at its weakest the whole game. Vision lost too much trying to put the actual towers up, so he lost the game, but I really respect him for this new strat, which will probably work well when some better players try it. Here we have Memoria with some fresh man on his Destros, going and owning some burrows. In this game, the advantage switched many times, mainly depending on whether Memoria had Destros and whether Doctor had Bat Riders. Neither player was able to get an Expo up or get a large army up. Both of those factors paved the way for a hero duel at the end of the game. The last time I saw a hero duel battle like this was Bob versus Grubby at Incup. In that one, the Undead Heroes pulled out the win. Even after the Lich dies, Memoria is still pushing for the Farseer kill. His level 6 Death Knight makes that push a whole lot easier. After this kill, all he has to deal with is a level 6 Tauren Chieftain. Once Memoria got his Lich back out, the game was over. Different starts out with a Blood Mage, just like Angry Korean Man. It might be one of Angry Korean Man's accounts. Lonely decides to counter the max area of effect damage with Fairy Dragons. A decent choice, but Different easily makes Steam Tanks to counter the decision. A smarter choice might have been Dryads, which are immune to magic. But Lonely doesn't stick with his Fairy Dragons. He decides to switch to Chimeras. Again, not a smart choice considering that Different still has a counter to air with his Steam Tank. Once Different gets enough Steam Tank, he's able to win the game. Lonely had the right idea in trying Different, he just chose the wrong strategies. Miss against Remind on Turtle Rock. Remind starts the game off with a couple of nice creep jacks. The second creep jack really doesn't work out and he's forced to run. The helpful part of the creep jack was at a bottom time to put up an Expo. The Expo almost goes down, but Remind's able to keep it up and only loses a few towers. He uses the extra cash from the Expo wisely to get breakers, casters, and mortar teams. This battle here starts with Miss fighting the worst possible place. There's no way to get around Remind's army to his mortar teams and casters. Also, he has no way to dodge Blizzard. This fairly even battle turns into a massacre. Even if Remind did lose the battle, he was up 1 Expo, so he probably would have been able to win anyway. A little bit of WC3L qualifiers. The Canadian team 0 air facing United 5. Quasi starts the game off with a slower bear tech and loses the first few fights. The key though is that he doesn't lose the fights that badly, and he gets his Goblin Alchemist to level 6 very quickly. Once the Alchemist got level 6, he took over the game. Transmute gives you 200 gold and a bear kill every 45 seconds. On top of that, the Alchemist killed the Naga and the Demon Hunter easily. Quasi won the game and U5 won the Clan War. Round 5, Czech versus Satini on Maelstrom. Satini pulls out the Chimeras while Czech plays a race that he doesn't normally play, Orc. The Chimeras totally own all the bros in sight, and for much of the game Czech has major food problems. Czech did have an Expo though, and he was able to make almost enough Bat Riders to cripple Satini's army. With maybe 2 more Bat Riders, Czech would have won the game. Satini would win, but he would go on to lose in the next round. Zakard against Rainbow from the newly formed clan Ninjas in Pajamas. The game starts out very early, and Zakard looks like he could win, even though he doesn't have a very good history in online tournaments. But when the major battle comes, he spends his time focusing down heroes. Rainbow smartly uses healing potions and invisibility while his army slowly kills Zakard's units. If Zakard had gone for units, not heroes, he would have had a much better chance of winning this game. It also doesn't help that in the last moments of the battle, he loses 3 guns to his own Wand of Lightning shield. Rainbow went on to the next round, where he lost. Now, some round 7 action on Treasure Island. Incinerator trying a different strategy to beat Moon. He quickly learns that the Naga gets owned by Mana Burn, but he still tries to push it tier 2. Moon was quick on his feet in adapting to this strat. He had made a larger army much earlier so that he could hold off the tier 2 push, which he knew was coming. In the final battle, Incinerator does well with Demolishers, but he just doesn't have the meat in the front line of his army to be able to take the damage. Moon advances to the semifinals. Spirit Moon went on to face Shy next. So the game starts off very even. The only difference is that Moon got a Wand of Illusion and then went to the marketplace to buy another. It's amazing how much hit points 6 fake bears can soak up. After the battle, Moon went to buy at least 2 more Wands of Illusion. Moon went on to another in-cup fight. The other semifinal was Lucifer against Winner. Lucifer made it deep into yet another in-cup. In the first 3 fall tournaments though, he hasn't won a single one. This far into the summer series, he'd already won 2. In the first game against Winner, Lucifer's able to keep enough Destros alive to win, but he loses both games 2 and 3 because he couldn't keep his Destros alive. The finals turned out to be Moon wiping Winner off with his shoe and flushing him down the toilet. Moon won 3-0, and Winner was never close to winning the game. Moon has now won 3 out of the 4 in-cup fall series tournaments, and he's probably going to win a whole lot more. Top plays. At number 10, the Farseer tries to dodge the ghouls, but he dodges right into them. Number 9, the Beastmaster stops running and ends the fight in a gutsy way. At number 8, the 2 most annoying heroes in the game die at the exact same time. I love it. One teeny tiny little arrow can make your death the number 7 top play of the week. Number 6, you can run, but you can't hide from the Mountain King. Oh, and using your Staff of Teleportation right before being bolted, not the smartest idea that I've heard. But using your TP right before you get bolted, that's a smart play. Top play number 5 is a 4-corner surround. Very nicely done. At number 4, I think the Archmage really wants to die. He runs right into a wall and gets trapped. His death allows the human's Expo to go down, effectively losing him the game. Number 3, 4K Zeus gets his heroes trapped by a Naga. That sure doesn't happen in every game. This Goblin Shredder gets the Medal of Honor and makes it all the way to top play number 2. Nice.
We're under attack!
Now that he's taking damage, the Goblin Shredder will probably also get the Purple Heart. He's the MVP of this game. And at number 1, here is a clinic on how not to use Footman. Sorry for the ultra lameness of the theme song, but it's World Cyber Games time. Be on the lookout for my WCG videos. My first one will be of the group phase and will come out on Saturday or Sunday, with the final video coming out soon after that. I want to thank my graphic designer for all the wonderful work. I still have more positions if you want to help out. You can either be my webmaster or help me watch some replays. If you're interested in either one, email me at admin@imbavideo.com. As always, if you have any comments, suggestions, or even hate mail, you can send it to admin@imbavideo.com. Now for more of that theme song. No matter how lame it is, it still pumps me up for World Cyber Games.
At last, the moment's at hand. All we need is to believe we can. We'll make our